She thought no one heard her quiet whisper behind the counter, but the man sitting in front of her was the one person who could change her entire life. Subscribe now to Black Inside USA for more emotional real-life stories that touch your heart and open your eyes. In a world where stories speak louder than words, this is Black Inside USA. Real emotions, real people, real change. The morning sun slid through the old blinds of Maple Street Diner, painting stripes of golden light across worn red booths and cracked salt shakers. It was a place that smelled of coffee, hope, and long-forgotten dreams. Inside, the breakfast crowd was already forming. Truckers, teachers, families, and lonely souls looking for warmth in a cup of coffee. The bell above the door chimed, and in walked a man in a simple black cap and faded t-shirt. No one looked twice at him, but he wasn't just any customer. He was Jordan Miles, the new owner of the diner, a man who had once washed dishes in this very place 15 years ago before life carried him to success. Now he was back, disguised, curious, and quietly determined to understand what was really happening inside the diner he'd just bought. He slid into a booth in the corner and picked up a menu that hadn't changed in decades. His heart raced a little, not from fear, but from nostalgia. He wanted to see what the people here truly felt when the boss wasn't watching. "Good morning," said a soft, tired voice. Jordan looked up. Standing before him was a young waitress in a slightly worn red uniform and a white apron. Her name tag read, Lena. Her smile was polite, but her eyes told another story, of sleepless nights, heavy responsibilities, and an inner strength that refused to break. "Just toast and coffee, please," Jordan said kindly. "Coming right up," she replied with a practiced nod. As she walked away, Jordan noticed the limp in her step, subtle, almost invisible, but it spoke of pain she didn't complain about. In the kitchen, Lena's hands moved quickly as she prepared orders. The other staff chatted idly, but she stayed focused. Then Jordan heard it, a whisper, soft, trembling, almost to herself. "Mama, I hope today's the day something good finally happens." He froze, his heart clenched. There was something about the way she said it, not as a wish but as a desperate prayer. He had heard thousands of voices over the years, but that quiet whisper behind the counter stopped him cold. Lena returned with his toast and coffee, her smile steady despite the exhaustion behind it. Jordan thanked her, leaving a larger tip than usual. She blinked in surprise, then whispered another quiet, "Thank you." Jordan watched her interact with customers, how she greeted an older man by name, how she bent down to tie a little boy's shoe when his mother's hands were full. Every move she made carried both grace and exhaustion. Hours passed. When the lunch rush ended, Jordan slipped out quietly, but he came back the next morning, and the one after that. Each day, he learned more, without revealing who he was. He saw the broken coffee machine Lena had been trying to fix herself because the manager said there wasn't enough budget. He saw her covering extra shifts when another waitress called in sick. And he noticed how she always gave free muffins to the homeless man who sat outside the window. It reminded him of himself, years ago. One evening, Jordan stayed late, pretending to be a customer working on his laptop. Lena was mopping the floor when the manager, Rick, walked in. Rick's voice was sharp. "Lena, you clocked in 5 minutes early again. You know that's against policy." She froze, gripping the mop handle tighter. "I just wanted to get started before the rush." "Save it," Rick interrupted. "And stop giving away food to strangers. This isn't a charity." Jordan's jaw clenched. He could feel his hands curl into fists, but he forced himself to stay quiet. He needed to see everything, the truth before he acted. That night, as the lights dimmed and the last customers left, Jordan approached Lena at the counter. "Long day?" he asked softly. She smiled wearily. "Always, but at least I've got a job. Some people don't even have that." "Why do you stay?" he asked. Her gaze dropped to the counter. "My mom used to work here before she passed. She loved this place, said it was where she met the kindest people. I guess I'm still hoping she was right." Her eyes glistened for a moment, but she blinked it away, standing tall again. "Anyway, can I get you anything else before we close?" Jordan shook his head. "No, Lena, you've already given me enough to think about." She laughed softly, not understanding what he meant. Days later, the diner buzzed with excitement one morning. Rumors had spread that the new owner was finally coming to meet the staff. Everyone gathered nervously by the counter, straightening uniforms and whispering guesses. Then the door opened. Lena gasped. It was the man who always ordered toast and coffee. Only now, he wasn't in a simple t-shirt. He wore a navy suit, calm confidence radiating from him. Good morning, he said, voice steady but filled with quiet emotion. I'm Jordan Miles, and I'm your new boss. The room fell silent. Rick turned pale. Lena's hand flew to her mouth. Jordan smiled gently. I've been coming here as a customer these past few weeks to see how things really run, not on paper but in people's hearts. He paused, looking directly at Lena, and what I found was a woman who carries this diner with her kindness, her honesty, and her hard work. Rick shifted nervously. Sir, if there were any misunderstandings. Jordan raised a hand. No misunderstandings, just truths. He turned to Lena again. I heard your whisper that day behind the counter. You asked for something good to happen. Tears welled in her eyes. He continued softly. Lena, starting today, you're the new manager of Maple Street Diner. Your raise is already processed. And Rick, your services are no longer required. A gasp rippled through the diner. Rick stammered, You can't just. I can, Jordan said calmly. Because this diner needs leaders who care about people, not just profits. Lena's lips trembled. Sir, I don't know what to say. Jordan smiled warmly. You don't have to say anything. Just keep doing what you do best, bringing light into this place. He took something from his pocket, a small silver locket. I found this in the office safe. It belonged to your mother. She worked here when I was just a dishwasher. She once told me that kindness could turn even the smallest diner into a home. Lena's eyes widened. She opened the locket with shaking hands. Inside was a tiny photo of her mother smiling, holding a tray of coffee cups. She helped me once when I had nothing, Jordan said softly. Now, it's my turn to help her daughter. The entire diner burst into applause. Customers stood, clapping, cheering, and wiping tears from their eyes. For the first time in years, Lena felt like she could finally breathe. 1 year later, Maple Street Diner wasn't just a restaurant anymore, it was a community. The homeless man now worked part-time washing dishes. Kids laughed in the corner booth after school. And every morning, Lena greeted customers with the same warmth her mother once had. Jordan still stopped by for his usual toast and coffee, sitting in the same booth. One morning, Lena came over with a smile. Still sticking to your old breakfast, Mr. Miles. He chuckled. Old habits die hard. She laughed softly, then leaned closer. You know, I whispered something new behind the counter today. Oh, he asked. I said, Mama, something good did happen. Jordan's eyes glistened. She'd be proud, Lena. She smiled. No, we made her proud. As sunlight streamed through the window, the bell over the door chimed again. Another customer walking into a place built not on money, but on kindness and second chances. And in that golden light, the diner seemed to hum with the quiet truth that had changed both their lives. Sometimes, the smallest whisper is enough to wake the biggest hearts. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Black Inside USA, where every story reminds us that kindness still wins even when no one's watching. Thanks for watching Black Inside USA. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every story deserves to be heard.